what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a review/thought video for this week. As for this one, I'm going to be taking a look at the Disney Plus show Miss Marvel that I just finished watching on Disney Plus. Though, for parents out there, it's worth pointing out Miss Marvel is rated TV PG though. When it comes to Marvel's Phase 4 strategy and all, their Phase 4 strategy has been kind of interesting though, as we've seen them lean between putting, doing certain movies like, Spider-Man No Way Home to the Eternals and all. But we've also seen their strategy has been seeing some of their shows be put on, Disney Plus. We've had Wanda-vision, which I really like in terms of almost each of the episodes being like a homage to sitcom shows back in the day, to Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, to even MoonKnight, which is certainly one of my favorite shows on Disney Plus from like the Marvel brand though. And so we now enter into one which is which is the Miss Marvel one that seems to be basically tone-wise being a bit different and all. And after watching all 6 episodes, I do have to say though that I came away from the show the same way that I came away when I saw Captain Marvel back in 2019. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, but it never reaches the height that basically, for me with Captain Marvel, it was basically the height that some of my favorite Marvel movies like Captain America, First Avenger, Winter Soldier, and the Avengers one, like the first one, Infinity Wars and Endgames, and it's sort of the same view I came away with watching Miss Marvel though. That doesn't mean the show is terrible or bad. It's not. It just doesn't reach that height in terms of being my favorite Marvel show on Disney Plus though. So in terms of what I like and what I didn't like, or mix out, I'll start off with what I like. And I will say that what I liked about it is that I find it very interesting how they decided to take a different approach, or somewhat different approach, to the superhero, where the past ones you had like basically like galactic heroes to even super soldiers and so forth though. This one seems to be a little bit more grounded, to be exact, and in a way Kamala's Miss Marvel character almost somewhat feels like how Spider-Man's origin story was to a certain degree. I wouldn't go as far as considering everyone knows Spider-Man's origin story. It's somewhat of a tragedy, like Uncle Ben died and all, and he became Spider-Man. This one is more about her, fantasizing, about looking at the Avengers as her inspiration, particularly with Captain Marvel and all. So it's kind of interesting, and it's more grounded in terms of with families and so forth. So it's a somewhat different approach to the superheroes, at least for the Marvel superheroes, and that's not necessarily a bad thing or anything like that. Which also brings me into the next one as well, and this is one part about Captain Marvel I kind of like though, and again, this mostly has to do with the fact that, and it has to do with I like studying the history of World War II, and of course the post-World War II and the Cold War, to be exact though, and this has sort of the India-Pakistan partition story and angle into it. And I found it very interesting how you learn a little bit of a history of Kamala's family's past, how they are tied to the partition of how India and Pakistan were split when Britain gave them their independence or everything like that. So that angle is kind of neat. And he also added, the mystical stuff, which shows how Miss Marvel got her power, which is from this amulet or bracelet that her late grandmother had and all though, and you learn a bit about their origins, where they originally come, which is basically from another realm and all, to basically the whole, like I said, the partition stuff. So I really like that angle in a way, especially as someone who likes to study World War II and the Cold War and all. And last but not least, in my view though, despite this one being targeted towards a younger audience, which I'll get to that part in a bit though, I did not find it to be cheesy enough like it will turn away older MCU fans. Not once did I feel like it definitely was anything like that. It didn't feel like it was dumbed down to the point like, oh, this is just for particularly for a younger audience or anything like that. I mean, there's still stuff there that older audience will like, especially some of the MCU connections, like you see like the Avengers Tower out there to Avengers Con, and also and even Captain Marvel makes an appearance basically in the last episode as well. So there's certainly some connection to the MCU, and the story is, to me, the story and tone wasn't necessarily bad for me or anything like that. So there's stuff there that I'm sure older MCU fans will probably like. As far as what I didn't like and what I was mixed about, though, to be exact, I will say that while I certainly did not feel, certainly didn't have any issues with Ms. Marvel, the show or anything like that, there's no denying the fact that this one is definitely targeted towards a more younger audience, particularly I would say more towards the female audience or those who did enjoy 2019's Captain Marvel. Again, I won't go as far as saying like it's so cheesy and dumb it will turn an older audience away, or it comes off, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that, like girlish or anything like that. I wouldn't go as far as saying Ms. Marvel is definitely that, but there's no denying the fact that this is targeted towards a younger audience and definitely a little bit more towards a female audience though. And then finally, of course, is the tone. And again, I had no problem with the tone of the show or anything like that, but there's no denying the fact that if you're coming from watching something like, say, MoonKnight, which is definitely for a much older audience, or Wanda-vision, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, or Loki, or anything like that, you're going to find the tone in Ms. Marvel is going to be different than what the tone is going to be in something like MoonKnight and all. And for some, that may not be a big deal, but for others, it may be, for those who are going into basically Ms. Marvel or anything like that. Again, I didn't have a problem with the tone or anything like that, but there's no denying it. The tone in Ms. Marvel is way different than what basically a show like MoonKnight is. Overall, I enjoyed Ms. Marvel though. I thought it was good and all, and I definitely thought it was an enjoyable show though. Do I think it's as good as Wanda-vision or Moon Knight? In my view, the answer is no. I don't think it's as good as those shows, to be exact though, but I still enjoyed Ms. Marvel nevertheless though. It was a very interesting take, somewhat different take on the superhero type of approach though, and I certainly did not have any problems with the show whatsoever or anything like that though. I am curious to see how Ms. Marvel is going to play out in the upcoming sequel to Captain Marvel, that show The Marvels to be exact. So I'm kind of curious to see how Ms. Marvel's role will be. Will it be a big role? Will it be a small role to be exact? And I am kind of curious to see how basically, if they do a season 2, how that will play out as well. One thing I will say that I think is kind of interesting was the final episode. They mentioned that that Ms. Marvel has some form of mutation in it though, in herself. And I do wonder if this is opening the doors to say something like, say, a reboot of the Inhumans, to even opening the door for the X-Men or mutants to make their way into the MCU. We know they're rebooting the X-Men though, but I wonder if this sort of opens that door to the bringing mutants into the MCU as a whole. But either case, I came away with Ms. Marvel the same way I saw Captain Marvel. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the show. I think it's good. It's just not as good as, say, Moon Knight or WandaVision was, at least from my view though. Okay, this concludes my review/thoughts of Ms. Marvel on Disney+. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Ms. Marvel? Did you enjoy the show on Disney+? Did you not enjoy the show though? Do you think it's as good as Captain Marvel was in any way? Were you bothered by the tone of the show, especially if you came from watching WandaVision or Moon Knight to watching Ms. Marvel in any way? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you do like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!